Hello everyone. Today we are going to discuss about dates in Tableau. There are basically two types of dates in Tableau. You have a discrete date and a continuous date. So in this section, we will be dealing with what is the difference between these two types of dates and how are we going to analyze it. So let me first go ahead and show you where you can select your discrete and continuous dates from in Tableau. So in my Tableau workbook, let's take order date from sample superstore and drag it to a row shelf. Now, when you drag your date field, any kind of date field to your visualization, you will always notice that your dates have defaulted at year level. And this is when we realize that, or this is when we know that Tableau is identifying the date fields properly, because no matter how big or how small your dates are, the date ranges is, it should always default to year level. Now, when you expand your date fields from the right side, you will notice that there are two kind of date paths that we have. It's a kind of repetition that we see over here. And this is where we decide whether we have to do a discrete date analysis or a continuous date analysis. Now, the first part that we have in this drop down, that is this part, is the discrete part. The next part that we have, which looks like a repetition, is called the continuous dates in Tableau. Now, when are we going to decide what date to go for? Imagine a scenario where we are a kind of a garment industry who's dealing with ethnic wear. Now, if we want to sit down to do a quarterly analysis of a garment industry, you will notice that the sale of garment industry kind of peaks up every quarter, Q4, right? Every Q4 is where the Indian garment industry will start having good sales, because that's where most of our festive seasons, our marriage seasons, are there. Now, this sales of the garment industry is kind of going to be consistent across the multiple year, and this is what is discrete dates for us. So if you notice, discrete dates are summed up value of the multiple year of date paths that we have. Now, here in Tableau, we have seen that we have 4 years in the data set. But if we go ahead and change this to month, you will notice we are just getting 12 months because I have selected a discrete month here. I'll just open the expander again for you and you will see I have used the first month. This is the discrete month. With the help of this, I have plotted my sales over here. And this is quite clear. As you can see, I am not getting the year that is there in my data. We just have 12 months. And the sales value for each of these 12 months. Now, what Tableau is doing for us is, let me just take year here as well in a new sheet. So I have year and discrete month, and I have sales of these. Now, as you can see, each January for the 4 year has the sales value. If I go ahead and from my totals add a grand row total, it gives me a total of 95,366. And this is the value that we see for January. So a discrete month is giving me a summed up value of all the 4 years month that we have. Accordingly, February gives me the value of all the 4 years February that is there in the data set. And so it goes on to December. You will notice that there's no difference in the grand total values that we have over here and the value that we are seeing in this visualization. So this is discrete dates for us. Now let's move ahead and see what are continuous dates. So continuous dates are the individual value of multiple year date part that we are analyzing. Now, let's take an example of a cycle industry across India. Now, cycle industry sales is dependent upon a lot of things, like few of those could be the season of a particular region where the shop is. The second could be if we are, selling the kids cycle range, then it would be dependent on the holidays of the school. It would be dependent upon the exam types of the school. These vary across India. Sometimes we have exams, we have a different exam seasons in the North India, and we have a different exam season in the South India. Same goes on with most of the parts of the world. Now here, if we would want to do an analysis, maybe for us it would be beneficial if we look into the dates at individual level, because there could be chances of individually, having different variance in the sales. So to plot a continuous dates, all we have to do is take the date field, select the continuous date part, that is, I'm going to select the continuous month, and bring my sales in the visualization. Now, I can just go ahead. As you can see, my axes are on different range. It is just giving me an yearly axis. I can just go ahead and make this axis a discrete one. Now you will notice I have an individual individual month for the individual years. So I have my 2011 data entirely plotted for all the 12 months till here. Then from this point, my 2012 data starts and it goes on to December. So I can just drag my order date year over here. So this is kind of what is happening to my continuous months. It is plotted individually for individual year in a specific month. Individual month for a specific year. So it goes on. The entire 12 months are plotted for a particular year. And then again, the plotting starts for the second year, that is 2012. It goes all the way to December. Then again, 2013 data starts, and then it goes all the way to December. Now, how do we decide that which is the the best way of plotting your dates if you do not have a clarity of whether what kind of seasonality you have in the business, in your business, or how do you want to plot it, whether you want to plot it in a discrete manner or the continuous manner? The best way to go on with the dates is something that I usually do when I don't have an idea, is go for a continuous date, because this will give you individual months plotted for the multiple year or for a single year that you have with a discrete axis, because making the axis discrete kind of gives me a good selection of the multiple months that I have. So if at random I have to pick up a particular month, I have the flexibility of just clicking on the month and seeing the sales value for that. If I do not select the axis to be a discrete axis and I let it be the continuous one, and if somebody asks me what is the value of 2012 June, I'll have to hover over my visualization to plot my June data and give them the sales value. Whereas if I select a continuous month, it is giving me the plotting of the data individually. And if I select a discrete axis, then picking up June 2012 becomes easy for me, and it gives me a better analysis. So that's all with the dates. Thank you.